Hey everybody, welcome to OtherRealm Studio. So I was getting ready to sit down and start, and I felt cold, so I had to run and grab myself a coat. So let's see. I think we'll be able to finish up this page tonight. Let's rearrange a few things up here. Okay, right. We need to hide a deer and fill in some of this white space. We'll do the color picker tool. Grab a brush and paint it over. So I would like to get these houses back here in the background done. So let's see. We can put them on layer 4. Now I do kind of, and maybe, perhaps, just a tiny little tad guilty of making fun of these housing developments that are all some sort of shade of grayish. Um, and all the houses are alike. Although I guess these are more like apartments probably. So there's a few. I'm not going to use a reference for these because I've seen several and I don't want to specifically call any out in particular. It's honestly just good enough to give the idea of them. But yeah, there must be a demand for them. There must be people moving in because developers keep building the same thing again. I should hope that they aren't doing that with no demand. That's that would be kind of disturbing. But I do wonder how many of these do we need? This is a fairly rural area still. There's a little small town here, a little small town down the road, um, sort of a medium-ish town a little further, um, more or less nothing until you get to Columbia, and I'm fine with that. That suits me. That's why I moved here, and well, um, not entirely, but um, I don't really think that I like the character of um, my location changing so drastically. And the other thing is, where are the deer supposed to live? If you're gonna if you're gonna be moving here and changing the landscape like this, then you need to at least be aware that there's uh, decent sized wildlife and they're not going to behave like livestock. They're not going to stay in a fence. They're not going to stay off your golf course. Okay, I can see where the background music is leaking onto the mic just a bit, so I'm going to tone it down. Okay, we'll see how that does. So, if you move out to the country or to a more rural area than you're used to, then you do need to be aware that these places used to be more wild. There used there still are a great many um, animals that you're not used to seeing. And you can't expect them to just make way for you. rid of some sketch layer. Alright, now I can see what I'm doing better. So Connie has rescued deer from all kinds of places in the upstate. So she's recently gotten one from a construction site, and she's had some before that had shown up at a factory out in the yard, and that the people found. There have been a lot that farmers found in their fields while they were bush hogging. Sometimes this turns out really badly. But sometimes they catch them in time. And it's just important to take care and keep an eye out, watch what you're doing, have a little consideration. And not purely because, you know, deer are lovely and they don't deserve to be killed for just living their lives. Some of it is that it's a minute. Let's see. If I'm gonna have these dormer windows up here, then this has to be moved. But yeah, some of it is that it's actually very dangerous to hit a deer with your car, or have a deer hit you. I remember my husband's friend way back in the day had a brand new truck, and a deer spooked and ran out of the woods and hit his truck like he was coming for it. He would have avoided it if he could have. And I've been in that position too. I've noticed a few deer crossing the road in a hurry. And yeah, so I actually stopped in the middle of the road and waited. And then, just when I thought it was safe, I eased up off the brake, and one last deer came bounding out of the woods and bounced off the corner of my fender. So Fortunately, I didn't hit it at any speed. It staggered back uh, and ran off. It's like sometimes you can't avoid hitting them, but the slower you're going, if they hit you, the better. Also, I guess it helped that it wasn't a particularly large one. I think with the direction of the light, I've got this going wrong. Okay, let's do this over. Alright, and now on the front side here, it's going to be a little bit lighter. So I saw the two bigger deer in my backyard today. Um, it's been really hot, so I had a rubber trough that I used to have um, for my horse, but I had set it out in the backyard for my chickens, and now I don't have chickens anymore either. Um, so the other day I had gone out and dumped out the rainwater because it was getting a little concerning in there. Um, and filled it about halfway with fresh water. And so today I noticed that the deer really were drinking out of it, so that's good. I mean, the temperatures out there are just not something I want to go out in. And we don't really have like running water out in the open on our property. Now, deerland, where the deer are soft released usually, uh, there is a creek down there. And on one of these pages here, I painted a picture of it from reference. It's a very pretty creek. And you know, they can go there if they want water, but these two deer that like hanging out in my yard, um, I don't know if they're too lazy to jump the fence, or if there's something here that they like to eat. Like, I don't do a lot of gardening, so it's nothing I've planted. Um, all I care about are my pear trees and my plum trees and my old bitty fig twigs, which the tops of those have of one of them has been eaten a bit. So I blocked it off a little bit, and I'm gonna get um, some more sachets to put around so that the deer aren't that tempted. Yeah, I found out last year that deer do not like the smell of cloves. It actually works. So I found some tulle and made some sachets of whole cloves. So my trees smell vaguely like pumpkin pie, but it's not a scent that the deer appreciate. So they left my trees alone for most of the year. And this was my brand new young plum tree, so I was kind of pleased with how that worked out. Okay, I think we can merge this layer with the one below. There, now it's all background. I'll do it back on here. And add a new layer. And I want to airbrush some fog for the distance. Yeah, about that size. Hmm. Is that too gray? It looks too gray to me. Let's go ahead and make it white fog. Oh. Okay, and now let's add another new layer. And go find the light grayish. And brush in some shadows. Oh, wait. Forgot something important. We don't do our shadows on a normal layer. We change it to multiply. about doing a big caterpillar tractor. Uh, but I have to admit, I'm not that fond of painting vehicles. Hmm. There is a moth that has gotten in here and it's decided that it's going to come over here and be my friend. I don't know, maybe it just likes the light I have over in this direction. Moth. It doesn't matter how many times you circle around, you're not going to find what you're looking for in the house. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to use the polyline tool to mark out the corners of this house and then airbrush where the shadows ought to go. So that gives it a realistic shadow with some depth. And now I need to also go back and do the polyline tool again. Right here behind the houses. Stretch these out a bit. No, this needs to go down. And hit that with a green for the grass shadows. And I do need to erase it out or blend it a bit because the selection tool decided to jump a little bit away from where I wanted it. Okay. And after we do our multiply layer, we do another layer. We don't leave that on normal either. We put it on overlay and look for our pale tone. And since I want this to be early morning, let's see how a soft, warm, orangey pink looks. Airbrush. Okay, I am just about ready to call him done, except like right here, there's a few artifacts left over from the background. So let's go back to our default set. We'll find that shade of brown again and fill in where you can kind of see the background behind him. I mean, it's not a huge difference, just a few little flecks of green, but I don't want to leave them. Okay, I don't see anything left. So yeah, I think it looks good. And in case you aren't from the South, the color of this mud down here is accurate. This is the most vivid mud. So we've got our red mud hill. We've got, oh yeah, I had not finished tidying up this bit of the forest. So let me pull this down. Oh no, wait. This is not from the set of pictures. This is a different set of pictures. Oh well. Let's see. Alright, I'll have to come back to that later. I don't remember which folder I had these in. Oh wait, I can at least do the greenery on this plant down here. I know what that one is. And I don't really know the name of the plant, but I know what it's like. There's actually several things down here. I guess it doesn't really matter which plant that I put down in this corner. It's just that I remember it was very green. And it's a good balance for the rest of the greenery. So let me just sketch these in. So yeah, I'm really glad that Connie has a place to release the deer that has, open running water on it. This is easy for them to access, and you don't have to continue, setting out buckets for them. Really, it's an ideal place for deer, especially considering that the hill to get there is so steep. Not the hill you can see here. This is mild. Uh, the hill on this other side that I did not paint is almost straight down. So there's a reason. When I went over there to take pictures, um, there's a reason why I didn't go all the way down to the creek that day. I was a little bit scared that, since I was by myself, that I might not be able to make it back up. So I really didn't want to get stuck. Okay, so I'd call that corner done. And I know I've got the pattern of the tree bark right. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Layers. It's on this layer. Okay, so I do have the pattern of the tree bark right, but the texture of it is a little off still. And I wanted to do some moss on it. So aside from the writing, I would say that mm, I'd I'd say that the book is about half complete. Um, and of course, when I finish hashing it out, how it's going to be written and how the words are going to go with the illustrations, I might add a few more. So right now, got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 illustrations with a few more in the works. So we got a dozen. I'll call that half done with the illustrations. We are also, coincidentally, half done with the campaign. There's only 2 weeks left to back the project. Um, so if you haven't gone and visited the Kickstarter page, I would like to invite you to do so. You can search Magnolia Fawn Children's Book on Kickstarter.com and it should take you straight to it. I don't think there's any other projects called Magnolia Fawn. And I have put the quick link in the chat. There we go. Hmm. Anything else? Let's see. I do have an overlay layer. And I think I need to move it up. Let's make it a bit of a greenish yellow. So I do need to come back in here and put in a little bit more brush. I have a little bit of placeholder uh, assets in here, but those are really just for background color. I'm going to do more painted, oops, I'm going to do more painted vines and underbrush up here the same way I did in this corner down here. Okay, and over here we're going to move into a bluer cast. And do I have a multiply? No, I do not. So let's add a multiply layer. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how I've painted in the light and shadows, but this extra little bit of depth, let's see, we'll make this one a blue-green. So yeah, the extra little bit of depth uh, really finishes out the art, so I'll brush that in. You know, below the overlay layer where I put the lights. And you know, I think there's different tools for adding shadows, but I prefer to brush them in like this. Um, Sometimes what you want is not accuracy, but more like the feeling. darken in the shadows in the creek. Because the thing with a highly reflective surface is that it's not just that there's more light, but that the shadows look darker. It's almost like the light itself is liquid and pooling, and the darkness is like the shadows drip down from where the light is, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I've always found that light behaves almost like a liquid. So this higher contrast um, with the shadows really makes the feeling that this is indeed water. Um, it really makes that pop. I mean, there's still a few small details that I want to work on with this, but um, I'm fairly happy with it. We'll give that a save. And it's already 9 o'clock. Wow, y'all. I feel like I was here for hardly any time. The story of my life. I feel like there's so much more that I wanted to do. But we have finished up Deer on the Red Mud Hill. Um, Finished up aside from a little bit of underbrush. I know, I keep saying we finished this piece, and I'm still coming back to it. Um, the creek. Um, Still got to come back here and do the background on Connie with the little piebald twins. And see, this is an early piece. Um, all right, on one hand, I really like the effect of the deer in the background, silhouetted against the light. And I also kind of like how this one blends in with the leaves, but I'm not, um, I didn't really do the rest of the deer in quite this style. He looks very unfinished. So I might find some more reference and see if I can bring him up to the standards of the rest of the deer in the book. And let's scroll up. the ground cover needs some work. So I don't know if I'll work on that on stream or if I will do that, at a non-set time. But it's time for me to go. Um, all right. So if y'all would take a look at the Magnolia Foam Children's Book on Kickstarter, I would greatly appreciate likes, shares, hit the remind me button um, to know when the campaign's about to end, and of course, pledges, because this is how we're going to be raising the money to print if we want to print this um, before November this year, so it'll be ready to be shipped in time for Christmas. You know, all all the small publishers want their book out by Christmas, and there's going to be a time crunch, and it's going to be difficult to get in the schedule, so that's why we're doing this in June, so that if we get the order in sometime in July, we should have plenty of time to get the books in. But if we don't hit the $1,000, then there's not going to be a print order in July. Um, if I don't have enough people who want a copy, then I can't go ahead and order the copies. So that's how that's how it is. So if you take a look at the campaign, I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you for spending time with me. And I'll see you all later. Bye.